very rewarding to be able to raise these funds and then to turn around and figure out what project you want to work on.
It's such a tight-knit community, and everybody is so positive and supportive.
It's a really interesting place to live and to experience, is what I would say. It's very easy to meet people. People are friendly. They're willing to help you out.
I'm Corey Getz with UHQ Construction. Today we're at one of the most beautiful golf courses in southern Indiana in the Bloomington area. We are at Eagle Point Golf Course. I have an awesome guest today. It is the president of the Eagle Point Foundation. It's Betsy Larson. Thanks for joining me today, Betsy. I appreciate you joining me.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
and
you too.
Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're the president here. How did you end up in your role as the president?
Well, we moved here in 2017, and we had been out here a long time off and on, and I wanted to get involved when we moved out here full time. And so I got involved actually with the big HOA, Point Services Association, in the beginning. And once my term was up, I wanted to continue to volunteer, and we formed this foundation in 2021.
Yeah.
And so I didn't join as the president. I was just a board member in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I have been involved since 2021, helping raise funds for the community to give back to the community in terms of beautification. So we don't get involved in the operations. We just get involved in making this place as beautiful as it is today and better in the future.
Yeah, I started coming down here in 2016, 2017, and it looks so much better than back then. You've definitely done a great job. What really inspires you to drive forward with that work?
We have a very close-knit community, okay? So we have about 1,000 units. And when I moved down here, I knew nobody, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you live in a community and you're, involved in terms of playing golf or going to the restaurant, walking around, I run, you want it to be really beautiful. Yeah. And so it's very rewarding to be able to raise these funds and then to turn around and figure out what project you want to work on and give back mostly. And I've been involved in other foundations in my career and know how important it is to always give back.
Yeah.
And so that's what inspires me. And I mean, look around today. As you play golf, you'll know why I'm inspired.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What are maybe some misconceptions people would have about the foundation or the Eagle Point area here?
Well, I think that people get, confused about what we do, okay? So we are a 501c3, which means we're not for profit, right?
Yeah.
They may not understand totally where the monies go because we have a big HOA, and how does all this fit together? So we've done a lot of education with people that come into the community and with the community. We talk at our annual meetings. Sometimes we talk at the board meetings. I think people today are much more familiar. Yeah. We have a Facebook page now. So that's sort of how we say, okay, here's what we do, and when you're doing fundraising, you got to make sure people understand what you do and what we're doing with the money.
Absolutely. And you guys are very transparent. You've got the website, a lot of details on there as well people could check out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can donate on the website. So you go out to the website, you can donate. There's a lot of different ways you can donate. This golf outing today is our second year that we've been running it.
Yeah.
And it's a big fundraiser for us. So all the monies that we raise today, excess of expenses, will go back into the community in a project.
Yeah.
A big project, hopefully.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and obviously we're a contractor, UHQ Construction. We did the siding here on the clubhouse and here at the Eagle's Nest. I'm sure you probably deal. I know you said we talked before. You got quite a few volunteers, but I'm sure from time to time you deal with contractors. What is something you think we need to see more out of contractors these days?
Well, I think number one, they have to have high quality work, right? And they need to come with a reference. And I think the customer service, and you mentioned to me that you're out on almost every job.
I go to every job,
And talking to the client, which I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
And I think the work that you all have done speaks for itself because it's a total makeover from where we came from, right?
Yeah.
So the work that you all did here with the Arty board on the clubhouse and Eagles Nest is front and center. But actually, how we got connected with you guys is you did another project, and I think the way you interacted with the client speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that we entertained bids. We just, the person that was leading that project said, UHQ does great work. I know them. We've worked with them for a while. They did our little village.
Yeah.
And so we want them to do the work that we embarked on a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys working with us, and that is definitely a goal of ours, is always to try to be very involved. Main goal with UHQ is to take our time. You know, UHQ stands for unrushed, honest quality. So
really? I didn't know what it stands for.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. So we always take our time, we're honest, and then we always want to give a quality project. And, you know, if people look at our Google reviews, they'll always kind of see that, you know, we stand behind our work. And me as the owner, I am very involved with the business, and I enjoy what I do. I love it. I got involved. I grew up on a livestock farm, and we did everything ourselves. And so I put on my first roof when I was 13, and then the next one when I was 14. And when I was 15, I started working for my buddy's dad. And it was a different time back then. I'm 38 now, so you know, it's been 23 years since I got into it. But it's great fun. What do you think we need to see less of out of contractors these days?
Well, you mentioned one thing that I think is really important, and that's honesty. Okay, so this is a world of scamming and scheming, and so you do worry when you engage with somebody what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think honesty is really, really important, and standing behind your work is really, really important. So if folks don't stand behind their work, so I'll give you just a personal example. We did a project in our house, and we had an issue with a panel they put up that had veneer on it, was bubbling. So we called the guy back, who we knew.
Yeah.
And he immediately came out, you know, to troubleshoot, right? So that could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
So let's say something happens to some of the siding here, and y'all don't stand behind your work, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't, I mean, you're not going to get another job unless you're honest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And I think being personable is important, but I think everybody is wary of the scammers.
Yeah.
And so that's it. We don't have good reviews, right? And you're not honest.
Yeah.
And you don't care, then you're going to get one job.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because when I got here this morning, before we got together here, I already walked around both buildings, and I'm like looking for any touch-ups, and, you know, we do definitely like to stand behind our work. So, you know, you have done a ton of work here over the last many years, but, you know, could we talk about some of the projects that you've done? I mean, behind us we can see the beautiful waterfall, you know, but if you could just kind of touch on some of the projects you've done over recent years.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the waterfall is our marquee, right?
Yeah, it looks so good.
Two of our big projects have been centered around the waterfall in terms of that whole 10, which is at the entrance when you come into the point.
Right.
So the first project, well, we've done some taking out of trees and some planting of trees, but that's really not very noticeable, right?
Yeah.
So the first project we did is we have a hillside, and it was just weeds. And we redid that and planted wildflowers. And in the spring, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and you said it wasn't this as easy as it maybe looked. It took quite a bit of work.
And it's big, and it's, you know, sloping. And we have a guy on the board that is very knowledgeable in this space, which we rely on heavily.
Yeah.
So he spearheads most of this. So following that project, then we decided to do the pond up there. The pond that steals all your balls, right?
Yeah, well, I used to be able to go in it when it was dry and take my balls back out.
If I got up there and got the pond, I'd be lucky, probably. But anyway, it was caving in. The liner needed to be replaced. The whole thing needed to be redone. And in fact, I think we had a small issue after, you know, we did all the work, and the folks that we contracted with came back and made it right.
That's awesome.
So that was a fairly big project for us, especially getting started, because we rely totally on donations from the community and outside the community, depending on if you play golf here and you want to see it continue to get more beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to embark, like I mentioned to you, on a huge project, which is as part of the total remake of the point with the siding and redoing the clubhouse and the restaurant. We also put in bocce ball courts and pickleball courts. And those are open to the public.
Yeah.
And it needs landscaping in the worst way, and that's not cheap.
Yeah.
So we've contracted with someone to help us design it. So they've done a rendering, and maybe you can share that as
Yeah,
part
well,
of this
absolutely. While we're talking,
conversation.
we'll kind of implement it.
And
here,
you'll be
yeah.
able to hopefully see it today when you come in from golf. It's a loop. So it's plantings, it's lighting, it's putting in some limestone staircases and stone, irrigation, which is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So we'll be kicking that off soon. We most likely won't start until the spring because we're going to be looking for some really large donations.
Yeah.
However, the money we raise today and have raised in the past, we will put towards that.
Yeah. And today, let's just talk about what we are here for. So we are here for the Eagle Creek Foundation golf outing,
Right.
and so one of the ways I think you're going to try to raise a bit of money would be through the silent auction. What other ways will you try to raise money today through the
So
golf
we've got
outing?
a lot. You all have contributed, so we have full sponsorships, and I believe you purchased 2.
Yeah,
right?
first
So
couple, yep.
thank you very much for that. And we actually have, I think, 34 whole sponsors, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
We'll be collecting money for mulligans and skins.
Yeah.
We're doing a 50-50 raffle.
Yeah.
We're doing the silent auction. And then obviously any monies that we've collected for you all participating today, less expenses, will go towards the foundation. We have sponsors for our lunch today, our hors d'oeuvres, our beverage carts, and that all will then go back to the foundation. We also will be making a donation to our local food pantry, Smithville Food Pantry, which we did last year.
Yeah.
And that size of that donation is contingent on what we bring in today.
Yeah. Anyway, you said they were so grateful last year when you were working with them.
It was a really great experience. So we went out to the lady's house that actually started the food pantry. And she lives not too far from here. She has sort of a barnuminium, if you will.
Yeah.
And she got all of her volunteers together. She had a little reception. We gave her the check. She was more prepared than I was to give a little speech about how thankful she was.
Wow.
And so and because of that experience, I think, and the need and who they are, we're going to donate to them. Again, although we have other food pantries in the area, other organizations out here, like the Ladies League, will collect money and give to that food pantry.
That's
so
awesome.
we try to spread it, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping we raise a good amount of money today from the auction because that's really the biggest piece.
Yeah.
So if you're,
I'm gonna be.
your
Don't
camera
worry.
person are early, bid often. Things have done really, really well so far. So we're really excited. We have 65 items in it, and
I think a couple of years ago, I bought a few rounds of golf in the silent auction. I definitely plan on getting involved with that today.
yeah.
What are some other ways that people could get involved with the organization, whether it be volunteering, or what are other ways? I know you mentioned the website earlier, but what are some other ways if somebody wanted to donate to the foundation to help beautify it even further?
So it's pretty easy to do. You can go out to our website and just donate online.
And it's a 501c3, so it's also a tax write-off?
Tax write-off also.
Yeah.
And we have a Facebook page, and once we get going with the campaign, everybody will be able to see that, so they'll be able to go out online and do that. However, we will take money anyway.
Yeah.
People want to send it to us, give it to us as they see. We also use volunteers. We use volunteers to help us, I think, plant the wildflowers. I don't know to what extent we'll use volunteers on this big project. Maybe, in the beginning we may use them on a small scale, but honestly we want to raise the money and have professionals do the plantings and the work that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
But we're going to try to do it as cost effectively as we can. So some of the people on the board have connections, so maybe we'll use somebody else for the lighting if we can get it cheaper. We're looking to put in an irrigation system, so to try to source some of that kind of thing. That's how people can help us. And we've had a number of volunteers help us on obviously the golf outing. It's all put on by volunteers, believe it or not.
Wow.
And you'll see it today.
Yeah,
All the people that are working here today, except for the food folks, right? And getting the golf carts ready and that kind of thing. We partner with our food service and our golf operations.
Yeah, it's been very busy. I've seen so many people working around so far today, getting involved. That's really cool to see. And then if somebody donates, they can also remain anonymous if they'd like, right?
They can, and we've had a number of anonymous donations, especially for giving a lot of money. Yeah. And you can donate an earmark. So, for example, someone donated a good amount of funds and they said, we want to do the front gate, right?
Yeah.
So the landscaping there.
Yeah.
Or someone will donate and say, I want it to go towards this project and I want to be anonymous. So we respect that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the board members, if it's anonymous, won't know who's donated. And that's okay, except for the person who's collecting the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the cool parts about this community here. You know, I've been coming down here for many years, and it's such a tight-knit community, and everybody is so positive and supportive. And on top of that, you have so many people from so many different walks of life and professions. It's a great group of people down here.
It is. It's a really interesting place to live and to experience, is what I would say. It's very easy to meet people. People are friendly. They're willing to help you out. And we've gotten, like, for example, today, a couple donated the waters for the golfers. You know, someone just raised their hand and said, we'll do that.
Yeah.
It's a really giving community. And also if you just need help in general, you know, like we were remodeling and we needed to sell our refrigerator, and so someone helped us move our refrigerator. Well, it's down a bunch of steps, and people are just willing to step up and help, you know. And same goes for the beautification of this community, I think.
Yeah.
And it's great to have people like you that care. You've done a large project here, and you probably want to continue to do that. And so that's great that you're involved and that you play golf here. And then people say, oh, you know, I know Corey, why don't you contact him? And that's how that happens, right?
It is, it is, absolutely. And we got referred to Bay Point in the original section when we first came to them. And we think referrals is a great way to do business. And so we appreciate all the business here that you've done with us. And, any project that anybody needs help with, just let us know. What else would you like to promote today? Is there anything you'd like to promote?
I just think the biggest thing is the campaign, all right? And that we are here for the community. We're here to beautify the community. We can't do it without the help of our donors. Very, very important. And as we embark on this big project for the bocce ball and pickleball courts, it's really important that people step up and help out. And we're not arm twisting. We just, if you live here, you play golf here, you eat here, you want to play pickleball, you can be from the outside. You don't have to be from the inside. And actually, people that have lived here and moved away often will come back and visit. So some of our old neighbors that moved away in 2020 came back to visit. They're from Bloomington, and we had dinner with them. So if you're involved at all and like to experience the beauty of this place, I would say, help us out. Yeah, it's such a cool community. It's really lovely. Thanks for meeting with us. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us, and anything we can do to help support, let us know. And we're looking forward to playing some golf with you today. Great, and thanks for your support. Thanks for your donations, because I know you guys have made a couple of big donations. Yeah. And thanks for all the quality work that you do. Absolutely. And the partnership. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks.